Yo, what up, guys? Today I'm gonna be talking about the time I was homeless, or rough life living, homeless, whatever. It was back when someone just texted me, my homie. All right, never mind. So yeah, it was back in what was it? It was, I believe, 2009, 2010, something like that. So my mom had went to prison when I was in 8th grade. All right, which was in 2009. That year, that summer, I was living at the house with my stepdad, her husband, and she was in prison. She was in jail for like 9 months, and then she was in the joint for like at least a year. Because I remember she didn't get out till I was, well, over a year, because she didn't get out until I was, what was it? The end of 9th grade. So 2010, that summer, going into sophomore year. So yeah, basically, and let me just state this: I had the option to have a place to live. I kept it a secret from my grandma. My grandma, she's a Christian lady. And that's my mom's mom. She definitely wouldn't have let that happen. But basically, she lived in a town 35 minutes east of where I live from the city, right? So I just was kind of tired of the back and forth, back and forth. Every year, my mom messing up, and every other year, it seemed like, from when I was 9 years old, when the house got raided and they went to jail and DHS got involved. That's basically when, from there till I was 13, up until, when I was 13, she went to prison. Up until then, it was back and forth to grandma's house. So I was just tired, burnt out, right? And I basically talked my grandma into letting me stay at the neighbor's house. But, and he ended up being like a tweaker, he was an alright dude, but yeah, it was crazy, really. But the whole thing is, I wanted to go to the same high school, which was East High. That's the biggest high school in Iowa, by the way. So, yeah, I wanted to go to East, and because I just didn't want to keep doing the back and forth shit. So I wanted to go to one school throughout, my 9th through 12th. You know what I mean? So 9th through 12th, I did go to East, and I did graduate there. So that was good, but I wanted that experience, right? I didn't want to keep moving back and forth and shit. So basically, that year in 8th grade, I was staying with my mom's husband. They were never married, but he's still in my life today. That's who I live with. Him and I are roommates, and we're really all we got. He's been in my life since I was, before I was even born. He was with my mom, and he's always been there. You know what I mean? We have a different relationship, than most father and sons, quote unquote, you'd say, but we got each other's back nonetheless. Well, my mom's in prison, and for some drug-related offenses, and he kind of just fell apart, and I remember he was just let himself go, let the house go, and we didn't have lights or water for about 4 months. So that was my journey homeless. Yeah, I had a roof over my head, but still couldn't flush the toilet, couldn't use the fridge, couldn't take a shower. I mean, pretty much living in a bando, really. So that went on, and I just roughed it that whole summer, man. And I even, had to steal a few times from the store, and I remember that was like the first time I ever did some shit like that. Just not good, man. But I definitely could have went to my grandma's house and just been there that summer, and I don't know, I just really didn't want to, you know what I mean? But I definitely could have had, running water and a place to, like, electricity and a safe place to lay my head, right? But I end up trooping through that, you know, and taking bird baths even. And there'd be some guy, he was like a little off, you know, he'd be at the Burger King, but he had a house up the street, and freaking, I'd go up there and like shower and stuff. And I remember when I'd take the shower, like I'd close the door and have the water running, and I didn't even get undressed for a second, because, you know, and that's real shit. Like, I'd be behind the door like, some guy gonna come in? But luckily he didn't do no weird shit to me or nothing. He was just helping a kid out. But imagine that, like, some grown ass dude. This dude was like in his 50s. I'm not gonna say, like, he might have been a little slow, but, like, I don't know, he just was always having coffee at that Burger King by the house. So yeah, and the dude was letting me smoke cigarettes and shit. Freaking, he'd give me a smoke and stuff. So obviously I was just a kid, but yeah, he'd so shout out to that dude. But and his name was Rick, I remember that. But yeah, thank God he didn't do nothing. That's just the world we live in, right? Like, anything can happen. And I've always been street smart and just adapted and grew up a certain type of way. So even when I was a kid, you know, 13, 14, when that happened, I was aware, you know, you always gotta be. But yeah, I trooped it, and I ended up making it, man. My mom, well, let me not get too far ahead. The school year came, and it was 1 month into ninth grade, so that would have been 2010, because I graduated in 2014. So in 2010, we ended up getting the lights on somehow. I forget what happened, because, you know, he wasn't working, and he was even dating some other chick. Like, there was crazy needle usage, you know, IV users in the house, and just crazy shit. People playing hacky sack in the living room, and this was where I basically not grew up, but we moved in there when I was 9 years old. Like, that was the home, you know. But yeah, basically, like I was saying earlier, that raid, I was 9 years old and the house got raided, and then it was back and forth to grandma's. But my mom, she ended up getting locked up, and when I was in 8th grade, and that's just when he let the house go. So the house used to be okay, but man, just blast from the past, man. Can't believe I'm thinking about all this, and it feels good to get it out too. That's kind of why I made this YouTube. But yeah, fucking we ended up getting it turned on and whatnot. But then a month into the school year, they come in while I'm in Spanish class or some shit, and they were like, and I knew it was bad, and they said I had to go home or something, or that he was arrested. Basically, my mom's old man was arrested, and then I wanted to go on the run, and I went to the neighbors that I ended up staying that year with, and he called my grandma. I wanted to take off on my bike with a backpack and just go, because I didn't want to go there. But and my grandparents, they're good people, but they're just, you know, I was a teenager, you know, and I was a kid who wanted to be with his mom. Rest in peace, Mom. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's my story on when I was homeless. Following after the lights stay with me now, if whoever's watching. Following the when the lights got took off or turned back on, so they were off for about that whole summer, and they got turned back on, and then he went to jail. Freaking yeah, dude came into the Spanish class, and I had to leave school early, and then I wanted to just book it, right? But that neighbor, he ended up looking out for me and called my grandma, and they came and got me, and then they worked out something where I could stay at his house that year. That whole 9th grade year, I woke up every day at 4:30 in the morning, caught the DART bus to school, and started working out. And yeah, I just did the right thing, went to school. My mom got out of prison and that end of that year, and we moved into a little studio apartment. Yep. It was a one-bedroom studio apartment. They slept in the living room, and I got the room. Well, I'm gonna end this video soon. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy. So that was my journey of homelessness, man. There was bird baths, a lot of long nights, no showers, no lights. It was hard living, man, and I still remember it, and it made me humble, and it made me who I am. And my mom, when she found out I was living like this, she was so sad, and I didn't have to. I could have been at my grandma's, but shout out to the guy, the Tweaker Steve. That's who it was. He was a user, like a meth user, but he was a cool dude, and I basically just stayed there and went to school, and then I was I think on the weekends I was at my grandma's, but that way they didn't have to drive up and back and forth 35 minutes. You know, that'll eat your gas up, and none of us really had any cash growing up. So yeah, we did that, and man, I don't know if anyone watches this and wants to hear more, just let me know, but I'm gonna end it there, man. Yeah.